have to admit that when the guard gets involved, they don't do it by halves. Look at all this.
There you are at last.
How goes the attack, Captain Superintendent?
The situation isn't ideal. That old fox, Kurnaz, chose his battlefield well. He has complete control over these ruins, and has positioned his troops to take full advantage of the terrain. His men are making the most of their knowledge of the area, and are waging a battle of skirmishes, ambushes, and sneaky tricks. And Imperialist fighters arriving from the rest of Tynea keep attacking us from behind. Since everything depends on his strategy, and his troops' loyalty to his person, if the general falls, the rest will collapse with him. Unfortunately, we don't know exactly where he is hiding.
Therefore, we're not in a strong position.
Indeed. Unfortunately, we don't have much outside support. Certainly not enough to allow us any room for error.
There must be some way to tip the scales in our favor.
When you don't have the numbers or the strength, you must use cunning. With a well-laid plan, we should be able to do it.
Quite right. We're going to carry out a coordinated attack on different parts of the ruins and the open terrain surrounding them. The aim is to divert the attention of the majority of the General's troops, while two small units make their way into the catacombs. These two groups will have to find the General hidden there and stop him by any means possible.
Why send two groups?
Our scouts have managed to narrow down our search area to two paths leading into the catacombs. Unfortunately, we don't know which one goes to the General's hideout, or even where they lead.
I see your point. I suppose you'd like us to be part of one of these groups?
Actually, we'd like you and your companions to split up and lead the two groups. I'll leave you the time to prepare and decide amongst yourselves who will accompany you on one path, and which of your companions will take the other one. When you've made up your minds and are ready, come back and see me. We'll launch the attack to cover you.
Well, if it isn't my friend Friedengar. Do you need anything? Oh.
I trust you've been able to speak to our allies. I recommend that you have a word or two with your companions before we go into battle.
You all know why we're here, and what's at stake. Getting to know you, exploring this continent with you, and fighting alongside you has changed my life. I hope that after this battle, we can all reunite and celebrate our victory together.
We started this adventure together, and I hope we'll finish it together.
I owe you my life, but I would gladly give it to defeat Kurnaz. May the Enlightened keep you all.
I'm not very fond of sentimentality or goodbyes, so let's agree to meet up after this battle, shall we? We'll have a drink together.
With you, my friends, I'd sail to the ends of the earth. And I look forward to joining you all aboard the Constantia for new adventures.
I've already lived a long life. If I must die here as atonement for all that the Alliance has done to you, then I welcome it.
You've all become so serious all of a sudden. After everything we've been through, we're not going to let one little skirmish scare us, are we?
Well, it's always helpful to motivate each other before a fight. Are you ready? Remember that anyone who doesn't go with you will take the other route.
We need a few more minutes.
I understand, but hurry. We can't hold off the attack for too long.
We are ready.
Good. Who will go with you?
Watch your step. There are traps.
I should have known it would be you they'd send after the General. The Savage and her minions. As if you could ever hope to defeat him. You're nothing but a fleeting nuisance that I'm going to sweep away.
How he loves to hear the sound of his own voice. At least we savages know when to talk and when to fight.
I should have known it would be you they'd send after the General. The Savage and her minions. As if you could ever hope to defeat him.
Let's show them what we're made of!
My armor's not good anymore.
Heal yourself. It won't last much longer.
My own. River is broken. Yes. Let's go. There's no turning back now.
You? The continent is full of worthy soldiers and mercenaries, and yet they send a savage after me? They couldn't just defeat me, they had to insult me too. No matter. I'm going to prove they were wrong. I'm going to send their pesky little hunting dog back to them in pieces. I'll show them they've only managed to delay the inevitable. There are wheels in motion that are far beyond their imagining.
You've gone mad. The whole world is against you, Kurnaz. You're trapped in the furthest reaches of the catacombs, and you're still raving about your plans.
There's a fine line between genius and madness. But rest assured, I'm going to show you the difference. Soldiers!
Loyal to the bitter end, are we? The General is playing his last cards. We've almost got him.
He's trying to sneak to the surface like a rat. But there's no way he's going to get away from us.
We're going to need all our strength to continue our pursuit. We can rest here, don't you think?
So, you got the better of Zahid. I'd have thought she'd be stronger. But that's the curse of people like me. We're always disappointed by our subordinates. They can never measure up to our own greatness.
Your greatness ends here, General.
Surrender, General! To be worthy of that title, you have to value the lives of your men. End the fighting!
What's a few lives compared to all those that could be saved by my plan? My grand vision? Don't you understand that I'm bringing peace to an entire continent? An end to the wars that have plagued us for centuries. I don't know why I'm wasting my breath on you. You couldn't possibly understand. Soldiers, show me you're worth more than this scum.
Get ready.
than the pox.
Hadn't we better?
Silence, woman. Don't think you bested me. I'll never yield.
Guards!
Here come... Soldiers! Come on! We can do this! Let's show them what we're made of!
You're bleeding. Let me help you.
We've lost one of ours. Must remain focused.
My armor's no good anymore.
Help! I need a hand! This armor is not good anymore! Help! I need a hand!
We're finally rid of all those soldiers. The general dragged Zerin onto this bridge. I saw him.
Let me go. There's still time to end this madness. Oh,
They're all cowards, traitors, incompetent fools. They're the reason we're in this mess. Incapable of following even the simplest orders, of doing what I tell them to. None of them ever understood the greatness, the beauty of the vision I shared with them. Imbeciles! You again.
There's no place you can run, General. It's time to surrender.
She's right. It's over.
You think I'm gonna surrender to this savage and her mob? I had sooner die by my own hand.
Really?
No! Don't! May the earth carry you always, my friends! Let's show them what we're made of! Oh no! I'm so sorry. We are going to miss you, my friend.
From another world, the doubt, the onward, beyond the land of my sacred home, my heart, my soul, my body. My skin, my own destiny. My heart, my soul, my body. My skin, my own destiny.
My dear friend, I understand your need to know more about the events that took place in this part of the mainland. But you should know that reporting on the current situation is not easy. The upheavals of recent months have been such that the balance of power in Kakan has been altered. We came close to disaster. General Kurnaz might well have succeeded in creating the empire he dreamed of, if he hadn't been defeated by that party I've already told you of. And if he hadn't committed the folly of antagonizing the Coin Guard who tracked his forces to the ruins where he had taken refuge. The imperialist movement, whose corruption had reached the highest spheres, seems to have died out with him. However, among the people, many are those who mourn his death. He flattered their nationalistic pride. We'll have to remain highly vigilant with regard to them. If they turn him into a martyr for their cause, we risk a resurgence of their deadly ideology and the rising of a new general. Fortunately, the new Sopharch of Elima, a certain Helise, seems to be both incorruptible and a supporter of a more benevolent alliance. My spies are still looking for Zeren, who, as I've already told you in my letters, disappeared after the battle. None of my men managed to get their hands on her. We must hope that she doesn't plan on joining her husband's supporters. As for the scientists who were trying to create those creatures of war for the General, they were hunted down by the Guard. I know you wanted us to catch some of them alive, to put them to work for us. I admit their research could have been useful, despite their ideology, which is resolutely opposed to our own. But I doubt I'll be able to. The Superintendent is pursuing them with unexpected rigor. The situation in the Dutan Empire, our main ally in the region, has also been impacted by all these events. The death of General Kurnaz allowed them to lighten the defense of the Eastern Front along the border with the Alliance. This allowed the Emperor to concentrate on the civil war that was ravaging his country, and in particular on the elimination of the communist heretics. General Eisenach, having been convicted of treason, his men fell into line, thus stabilizing the Imperial Army. The merchant congregation, which I am watching very closely as you know, has also undergone some changes. Our allies, the De Vesps, have managed to get their hands on the proof that their lineage can be traced back to the ancient kings of Astria. This allowed them to consolidate their position among the nobility and gain significant influence with the various cities. With our support, they should be able to rise again to the head of the congregation within a few years. I know that you have a keen interest in the affairs of the Nords, so I will say a few words about them here. Admiral Cabral is in Tier for D, so Admiral Barcelus, with whom we have already done business, is in charge of the guild. After the General's stunt forced him to distance himself from the Alliance, I believe he will be quite receptive to our proposals. As you may remember, one of his lieutenants was to furnish us with a map of a new island. But let's get back to the party I mentioned previously, and which so piqued your curiosity. As already mentioned in my letters, I've met the various members on several occasions in recent months. Our agent Fausta introduced them to me. She was our biggest source of information on the events I previously mentioned. As you may remember, I had given her orders to assassinate the General, if the opportunity presented itself. Her failure cost her. She was imprisoned, but fortunately was freed by her friends.